Good morning. Jamie Hyde and Bob Merritt. We're at the Golden Lions garage. Today's little project is going to be Star Wars. We're going to be placing brand new reproduction 300K emblems onto a door panel. And we're going to cover that procedure along with the written instructions. These are parts that fit the 1964 300 hardtop and convertible. They do not fit the 65 model year car nor other 300 year cars. This is 64 300K only, and you can see the dimensions of these. So stay tuned. Good morning, Chrysler 300 Club guys. We're going to cover today's little project at Golden Lion Garages is to replace the door stars on a 1964 300K with stars that the parts committee has reproduced. As you can see, the difference between the existing star and the replacement star. Now, we're going to cover the step-by-step procedures on a door panel that's been removed and in the shop because the factory recommends, and it's outlined in the instructions that are provided with your stars, to have the door panels at or above 70 degrees. So it's a little chilly out here in the garage this morning, and of course the panels are installed vertically. So again, we're going to be popping some new stars in. And you can see how much nicer that looks than the existing star. Okay guys, we got the door panel that we're going to use to put the stars on. As you can see, it's horizontal, it's on a working surface, it's been brought up to temperature. The first thing you want to do after you unpack your stars is you want to be very careful handling them. Always handle them by the edges. Don't grab on. Don't bend them. Try to keep them on, like I say, holding it by the edges so that these fins, until this thing is installed, it's fairly flimsy. So set them aside in a safe place, and then reread your instructions. There's some tips and stuff in these instructions. Please, if you got a question, give me a call. The last thing we want to do is have you not satisfied with the installation. So the way we start this is your existing star. I take a tool, and you want to go around the edge, and you want to probe and try to find an area where it's going to lift. Now some lift easier than others. Just keep going around. Again, you're using sharp tools around your door panel, so you want to be real careful. There, see, I got that lifted. So now what I do is I take a pair of pliers and I grab on and pull up. Now these are aluminum, they'll be sharp on the edges, and this is how you extract the existing emblem. Okay. It should pull off completely with some force. Like you see, there's your emblem. Discard it. Hey guys, resuming here. This is the adhesive that held on the old emblem, and as you can well imagine, the adhesive held up a lot better than the emblem did. This is really hard stuff to get off. I recommend that you use a razor blade at a very tight angle. Use two hands to control the razor blade to scrape this material off. And if you take your time, stay between the lines and just, like I say, work. You can see the blade will cut in, and you can lift this old glue off. Now, I know in the instructions that it mentions lacquer thinner. Well, what I don't want you to do is to try to use lacquer thinner to get all of this emblem off. Because what it'll do is it'll soften this glue, and it'll make little globs that end up on your door panels like that. And because the solvent's soaked into this glue, it'll then soak in and stick to the door panel, or the solvent will start attacking the vinyl in the door panel and leaving a blemish, which is what you don't want. Now, I'm using a very controlled stroke here and very softly working the glue out of here. If you don't feel comfortable using a blade like this, I suggest that you put some sort of protective materials down in this area here, you can shove it underneath the emblem like that, and that way you can scrape along. See how I just popped off the blade? But the goal is you got to get all this material out. Now, another thing too you might notice is on the edges here, you might discover a pit. These emblems are really nice shape. I mean, they're not badly pitted. The door panel, of course, you can see is not in really great shape. But the emblem, with a little bit of polish, is going to clean right up. So you can see me working this glue off. Again, take your time. This is, you don't need to be in a big hurry to get all of this out. So you can see now in a few minutes, I've got most all the adhesive out. As you can see, I'm continuing on here, getting the glue out. And it is, you might have a better, I'm not really using a razor blade safely here, so a smaller blade like a hobby blade might be a little easier to use in this situation. Okay guys, as you can see now, I use the razor blade again with two hands, very steep angle. I've gone around. You want to go around the edges here. You can feel this glue coming off, and even though you think you got it all, pay attention to the edges, right in the very, very edges here. Go around, look at it, you see there's more material coming off. And then, after we get this out, we're going to stop here for just a second. Bob's going to vacuum up these little bits. You could blow them off, but of course if you're in the house you want to do that and get it all over the carpet. So now you can see all the adhesive's gone. We got a pretty good base here, but we got all this material here that we want to remove and not have any chance of that contamination ending up back over here. Cleanliness of the sub base is very important. We're going to do another step here in a moment where we're going to use lacquer thinner and a Q-tip to go in and clean this. You'll see when I turn the Q-tip over, you're going to see the material on there. So we're going to stop here and just do a quick vacuum on this. Okay, what I got here is lacquer thinner. I got lacquer thinner. The adhesive manufacturer has recommended a solvent, not to use rubbing alcohol, because a lot of the over-the-counter rubbing alcohol products contain oils. And what we're going to do here with a Q-tip moistened in lacquer thinner is go around here very carefully, cleaning this base off. And you can see, when I turn this over, you see that brown material? That's adhesive that didn't come off with the razor blade. And it's important, again, that you thoroughly clean this. And again, pay attention. Do some visual inspection of the edges. Because any type of adhesive remaining here, see all that material? Will allow the new emblem to sit proud to the base, which we don't want. The emblem needs to sit flat, fully on this base, so that the adhesive can bond correctly. And again, there's Look at that material. So I'm going to clean this again with lacquer thinner. And you don't want to use this in your house. It's highly flammable. It annoys the cat. Your wife will get mad at you. You might start a fire, which of course wouldn't go over well. So I'm going to clean this again, and then I'll be back in a minute. You can see we got the base nicely clean. The next step you want to do, handling it by the edges, you want to just drop it in and get an idea of how it fits. You also want to practice when you pull the adhesive off. The procedure is you're going to index the edge, center it, and then you're going to set it down on this edge and then drop it when the adhesive backing is exposed. Because once this emblem is in place, you cannot move it. So once the adhesive sets, so you want to just get it centered, get an idea how it's going to fit. Because once it sticks, it's permanent. So now we're going to just clean it one more time prior to exposing the adhesive. Again, don't touch it. Don't touch the back of the emblem after you expose the adhesive. The oil from your fingers will impair the ability for the adhesive to bond to the base. So now we're going to stop here for a minute and we're going to do the next step. Okay, we got our base cleaned, we've test fitted, so now we want to expose the adhesive. Oh, another recommendation. You want to install the numbers so that they read correctly from inside the car, sitting in a normal position. Unless, of course, you want to be strange and mount it this way. Then the people would only be able to read it if they stick their head inside the car upside down. But, holding by the edges, expose the adhesive from one of the little edges. This is not the easiest to do. Without long fingernails. Okay, you can see I got it started on the edge here. Peel it to the middle and stop. You don't want to put a lot of force on this. And then go back over to one of the longer fingers, again keeping your hands off the adhesive face. And it's somewhat tricky to do, I have to admit, but there. Okay, handling it by the edges. Peel to the middle, peel this edge over, and then remove the adhesive. Again, don't touch the back side, because that's where all the glue is. Now carefully, take, I almost put this in upside down. You want to index to the bottom, the fin centered, then rolling to the left or the right, drop it in. Now, you can use a razor blade or other small tool to center it, but this is it. This is the only adjustment you get. It's precision cut to the base. Once you're satisfied with the placement, you still can move this a little tiny bit, but you can see I can just touch it a little bit. You want to make sure that it's perfect because there are no second chances. So once you're satisfied with the placement, put your fingers on and push down. Don't use any tools. Now, you think you're done, but you're not. The adhesive needs the heat from your fingers and the pressure to bond with the substrate. or the base, excuse me. This adhesive is pressure activated and heat sensitive from the fact that the heat is now from your fingers and the pressure is breaking the little glue balls up and it's activating it. It's a 3M product that's designed for automotive applications, high humidity, high internal temperatures. It takes about 4 hours after it's activated in this manner to fully bond and cure. Now, you see I'm keeping my fingers off of the 300 because that's embossed, it's raised up. You could push on here. I wouldn't recommend pushing real hard. You may or may not be able to deform the 300 embossing, but let's not take a try. Here we go. We're pushing down. Also, as I'm taking this moment here, you'll recall from reading the instructions, I recommended not using the heat gun. Trust me, I used a heat gun to assist the removal of the old Emblem. With the heat gun, what I found was the aluminum, of course, transfers heat very rapidly. You've got the heat gun focused on the Emblem. You're warming the Emblem up. And about by the time you think to yourself, boy, is that glue soft enough? You'll notice the door panel has started to go soft. Now, because this is vinyl, this is metal, the metal's now absorbing heat at a greater rate, transferring it into the vinyl door panel. You're done. The door panel starts to deform. There's no way to stop the deformation. Too much heat. And all you've really done is just made the glue a little stickier. It doesn't help removing it. The best method is the method I showed you. And again, as I alluded to, don't try to just clean the adhesive off. With lacquer thinner, it makes a mess. I've tried that as well. This so far is the best method I have found to adhese this to the star. And there we go. That's the finished product. They can be put into service immediately. Recommended cleaning is just normal interior cleaning components. You could wax the Emblem if you wanted to, although we don't recommend it because this is the correct finish. It took a lot of work. The parts guys, Mick Chrysler, selecting the correct reflectivity, the hue, the color hue, of course, and the flatness of the 300 emblems. I think you'll be really satisfied with this product. I hope you'll enjoy these things and put them in service. And if you got any questions, again, contact me, contact somebody in the club on the parts committee. We'd love to hear back from you if you have some issues, but we think this is it. So thank you again. From the Golden Line Garages, we're out of here. Okay, just a review. Here's a after. You can see what it looks like as opposed to the original. Now, another thing you might want to consider when you're doing the door panel project is replacing the moisture barriers. These moisture barriers is a project that I worked with a vendor. He die cuts these. This is a 63, 64 moisture barriers. He makes a little kit that includes instructions, the 2-inch wide tape that goes at the base, the special dum-dum that goes around the door. You get all 4 panels in a nice little kit like this. So if you're interested in something like this, it's a nice time to do, if you're putting on new door panels, is to make sure the moisture barriers are in place. It's something Legendary Auto Interiors recommends on all their replacement door panels, that when you have a fully refurbished door panel, that you include a moisture barrier. The reason being is over time moisture gets into the back, and you can see moisture's got into the back of this panel and it's distorted it. So the moisture barrier protects the door panel from moisture damage, and of course with the proper care the panels will outlive us. So again, from Golden Lion Garage, thank you.